Hello everyone, I hope you are doing good. In the previous videos, we learned about how to add new nodes and how to concatenate and how to display them. I hope you got all the basic concept. If you are facing any difficulty, we can discuss on Discord or you can just comment out. I'll try to solve your problem. Next, today we'll learn about insertion and deletion of nodes. So insertion means, as we did in the first video of this linked list, we added new node. So that's how insertion, but there are three types of insertions. Like we wanted to add in the front, and we wanted to add in the end, or we want to add in the middle. So there are three type of insertion. Like uh, suppose we want to enter a node in the first, before the head we wanted to enter front, we wanted to add a node here, and the ending on the end we have already done. You can see in the first video that whenever we added a node, we added it at the end of the linked list. So this will not be doing this, we'll be doing this adding in the front of the linked list and adding anywhere randomly in any places of the linked list. And secondly, we'll do about how to delete any node from any position. You don't have, just need to know the position and you can delete it. So let's start by adding a node in the front. So I'll copy paste a code that was taken from the first one. I hope you can understand it because we have already done all of that. Okay, I'll say one more time. So we have included this is the basic part, and we created a stack of node. I already stated why we are doing this, and we're creating a linked list. You can see the constructor, that is null. I said it should be null because we don't want any default value to be inserted whenever we are creating a linked list. And this is how we did a adding node. This will add any nodes at the end of the linked list. So that was it, I added, and this is just adding two nodes. Now suppose we wanted to add a node. Suppose we want to add a node 3 in the starting point before the head. So if you just display out, so let's just display out this. We'll create a new function called static void display. Static void, we'll create a new, and we'll just print out this. We'll add a node here so that we can have access node x. Okay, and now I'll just write the code. We'll do it like we did in the previous. So we'll just use cout and x data, and secondly we'll just call this display once more, display, and we'll just call x next. So this is the recursion function, we're doing it. And now if you just write here linked list display a dot get head, means whatever the head of which we want to pass. Okay, we'll add one more function here. We'll just write here node. We wanted to add a node, and we wanted to return it a type of, we wanted to return a node type. So we'll just write the head. We want to return the head because it's a pointer of the node structure. Now if you just run this, okay, there's an error. We expected a semicolon, and just run it. So you can see we added a two node. Okay, I'll just use the endl so that you can understand what we did. Okay, run it. We can see we added two nodes, 1 and 2. These are the integer data values that we inserted inside the node. So this was done by using AND. I said there are three types of insertion. The AND one we did in the first video. This is just the copy of first video. You already know how we did it. If you don't know, please watch the first video, you will understand. Now what if we wanted to add something before 1? Suppose we wanted to add a number before 1. So this is the head. We wanted to add it before head. How we can do this? We'll create one more. Let's say here we'll create one more uh, function. Sorry, we'll create one more function called void, and we'll call it front so that we understand it's in the front. And we'll pass here the integer value that we wanted to add. Suppose we wanted to add here 10. So we wanted to add this 10 before the value of 1. So how we can do this? Now let's do all the functionality. So first of all, we'll create a node. Let's create a node, name it anything. So we'll name it like frnt. We'll run it front so that it doesn't become same, and we'll create a new node. Okay, now a new node is created with the name frnt. Now we need to add this before the head file. How we can do this? We can just, let's put the data inside it first. You know how to put a data, just write this and put the value of n. Here we can just write int n and put the value of n. Now we have the data inside the front. So this is just a node, new node we created, and now I don't know what's giving an error. Expected, okay. We already gave that. Okay, nothing. This error will go away soon. So now we can just, now how to means put it inside the head. We'll just write, okay, let's come down here and we'll write front front next. The next thing it will print is it should point to the head. Now suppose, what does this mean? Now from the front means the node we added, the next node after this node it should be the head. Means if you after this node if the head is, then that means this node is before the head. So that's how we can add in the front. This is it. Now just write the what should be the head, and currently after this the head will be whatever we added. So I hope you got this. Okay, I'll explain one more time. We created a function called front that is accepting an integer, and we'll put the data. This integer will be accepted as data, and we are creating a node called frnt. Just naming can be anything, whatever you want, and the data inside this is the value of n. So this line, very useful line. The next after the front node, suppose this is a node, it can be anywhere. We want that after this node it should print. I said you in the node there are two types. First is the type, and second one it points to a new node. So the next node that is pointer is pointing to the head, and after this front node the next node should be of type head, and we know what is the head, it is the first one, so it is this one. And after this front frnt, this should behave as head, so we wrote head is equal to front. So I hope you got this. If you face any difficulty, please comment out. And now we'll add this a dot front, and we'll add this the value of 10. And if you just run this, we can see, okay, I'll clear out so that you can see it more clearly. We got the answer. You can see 10 is added before 1 and 2, but earlier if you just remove this line front and just run this, okay, and run it one more time just by adding a dot a dot, so that I can explain the three things at the same time. Okay, suppose we run this again. Okay, you can see currently this 10, the value of 10 is printed at the end after the 2, because this is called by this function, the add node. Inside the add node we added the after the whatever the node is, the next node should be null, means it should be at the end. And but when we call the front, you can see here the 10 is printed in the top. Why? Because when we call the front, we want that the next one should not be null but should be the head. That brings all the difference, and we can print in the head. So I hope you got the concept of how to do in the front. Now we'll try how to do in the middle or any random position. This is a little bit confusing, so I want you to be a little bit careful. So let's start by using a function. Let's just name it void, and we'll name it middle or random. Let's name it random, so that we know that it's anywhere, we don't know which position, and we should pass a node because we should know after which element it should be passed. We'll add a instance of node, and we'll write it like temp. This is better one because it's temporary. And okay, let's give it space so that it looks clear. And next we'll pass the value of what is the value that it should pass. So we'll just remit n, and let's go to add the functionality. First of all, we'll create a new node. We'll create a node, and we'll write a is equals to new node. Okay, now we created a new node. Be careful, this is a new node. This is not the name, this is not the same one. This is the past one, this is an argument, and this is a new node that we just created. Okay, now wait, what we can do, we'll write that the new node should have data of data type this. So we'll just write a data, means it should contain the data of n. So now this new node, the a, will contain the data that we just passed. Now what we wanted to do, we wanted to add this in any position. So which position will pass it here? This is a position after which we should pass. So we'll just write next a dot next should be equals to temp next. What does this mean? Suppose we wanted that the next value that this node should print is the value that whatever the argument we are passing a node here, after this what it should print, this next should print the same value, means it should take up these places of next. it will take out the place of next, and we'll just write a dot next. I'll save, just a little patience. Okay, what we did is, I'll show you with the help of example. Suppose we have a number 1 and 2, and we wanted to print a number 10 here. So now we are taking this as argument. So here the node temp, this is an argument for 1. Okay, we can take it anything. Just for our example we are doing this. We wanted to print a number 10 between 1 and 2. So we are passing this 1 as argument here. This is a node, we are passing this node here. Okay, I hope this is, you understood this. Then we created a new node. We are creating node for this 10. This can be, this is a node new created. Till now it is not in the middle, it's in any random position, and we created this node and we gave the value of 10. Okay, now after this means this is a node. The next node it should print. You already know that one node points to another. This one is pointing to 10, 10 is pointing to 2. We want that this 10 should point to whatever this 1 was pointing. Earlier there was no 10, so if you just clear out, earlier 1 was pointing to 2, but now you want that the new value, that is 10, should point to that 2. Okay, and whatever the value of this 1 was and what is pointing, now it should point to 10. You can see here the value of temp next is pointing to a, that is our new node, that is 10. I hope you got the basic concept. Okay, I'll clear it one more time. You can skip if you understood. I'm doing for one, those who do not understand, I'll do it in a better way and a little bit down. Okay, suppose we have two number, one, I'll write it a little far so that you can understand better. Suppose there are two numbers 1 and 10, and we wanted a new node of value x to be printed in between this 1 and 2. Before this x, if this was one node, this is a node. Okay, I'll just write here node, then this is node next. Okay, I'll just bring some spaces. Okay, if this one is one node, then the value of 2 is just the next of this node, and we wanted to print a number here. Suppose x, we wanted a new node here. Now for this we'll just write this node. Suppose this is not capital, this is capital N, this is n, and this should be n next. So we'll create a new node. You can see here we are creating the next of this node. The node we just created should point to the one that was earlier being pointed by this node. It's temporary node. Earlier this 2 was being pointed by 1, so now we wanted that this 2 should be pointed by x, and what this was pointing to 2. Now we want that this 1 should point to the currently created a node. You can see it here. So I hope you got the basic concept. Still, if you are facing any difficulty, we can discuss on Discord. Please go to my Discord account and we'll discuss it there. I hope you got this. Now we wanted to add this 10. So we'll just clear out this and we'll write a.random, and we want to add this 10. Where we, no, first we should write where we wanted to add. We should give it a name. So we'll write it should be a.getHead. It should be after the position of head, and it should point the value of 10. Okay, I'll just run it. After running, I can explain you once more. Okay, you can see 10 is printed between 1 and 2. How this got? We gave it a you can see we require in the argument we require instance of a node, so we passed it a.getHead. What does a.getHead give? A.getHead is giving the head of, you can see where in the get head we can see it is giving the head of the a, means it is giving the position of a is 1, is giving the position of 1, and here we wrote next. You can write, you can see here temp.next means after the next it is giving the position of 10 after the next. So that's how we can write it anyway. If you write here just next, it will be printed after the value of 2. If you write here next and just run it, you can see 10 is printed after the third position from head, because we gave the head value, we wrote the next, and here we gave one more next value. That's how it's printing in the third value. So if you wanted to add one more further, we can just here write next, and you can go by writing just next here and there. So that was it, how to insert a value in a random position. I hope you got the basic concept. If you're facing any difficulty, you can comment out and I'll try to solve your problem. Thank you for watching. Or else we can do the deletion in the same. I don't want to create a new video for this. Okay, let's start the deletion. How to delete any position, means if you want to delete this 10 now, how you can do this? Okay, we'll do things. Let's start with a new function. Let's name the function as del. We can't name it delete because we'll use the delete operator and it will give an error. So we'll just write static void, not a static void, we'll just write void, and we'll write del, delete, because we want to delete something, and we'll pass a node here, instance of node, because we want to delete certain node, because every whatever the element that is contained is a part of a node. So we'll just name it what we want to delete it. So it's like, let's name it AWW. Oh, okay, sorry for any naming. You can name it anything. And now we'll create a new node. We'll just write node, and we'll create temporary node, and this temporary node should contain the value of whatever the value of AW is passed. It should contain the value of next. Okay, after we do the code, I'll try to explain, and I'll explain it one by one. What we wanted to do is, if you just run this, okay, run this once. So you can see here we got the value of 1, 10 and 2, and we wanted to remove the value of 10. So we are doing this code to remove the value of 10. You can remove any part. We'll try to remove the value of 10. So now we'll give it a, now you can see the temp is pointing to the value whatever the node we are passing after the next of that node. So, and now we can do just add here. So we pass the O next. Now this temp is containing whatever is inside this. Now what we can do, we can just write AWW next. It is pointing to something, so we can just write next is equals to temporary next. What is means, I'm just telling you. Before this, let me do the code. Let me finish up once so that we can do it in a better way. You can understand it. Okay, now you can see. Before this, let me pass something. We'll just write this. Okay, we want to print this first, then later on we wanted to print the delete, and we'll pass this a dot get head. You already know what get head is if you are following. Okay, I'll show you what get head is. Get head will give the head of the node that it is passed with, is passed as reference with. So it's passed with reference with a, so it will give the head of a, and we'll just print out this. We'll just write the same thing here, and control C and control V. Okay, now you can see that we're calling the delete function by giving the head of a, so it is giving the position of 1. And what we are doing here, we are taking the position of 1 here. You can see the position of 1 is here, and we are creating a new node called temp, and the temp is pointing to the position next of 1. So what is the next of 1? Is pointing to the position of 10. So the position of 10 is inside this temporary node that we just created. I hope you are getting this. The value of 10 is inside this. It's not the value, it's just the position is inside the node, because 10 is also a node here, and this node, the node is inside the temporary node. Now what we did in the next line, the next value means this is the one we passed with the AWW. Okay, I'll just write it. Now you can see we passed a node here called before delete. Means this was not deleted. This is not deleted before delete. So we wanted to delete the 10th position, but we are passing one that should not, is one prior to this, prior to not deleting. So we want that this is taking the position of 1. So we are passing the position of next. Whatever node we came here, we are passing the next. Means we wrote here a dot get head, means it is just passing the head of the node, that is the position for 1. And here we are accepting the position of next, that is the value of 10 is inside this temporary node. And now we wanted that whatever the value it was pointing for the next inside this node is pointing to 10. Now it should point to whatever is after the temp, means whatever the temporary next is pressing. And what is temporary? Temporary is just before next, means 10, and we wrote one more next, means it is coming to 2. Now whatever this one, now whatever 1 will point to now 2 straightly by removing this temporary, because now we can see before delete is 1, one is pointing to next of temporary. And what is next of temporary? Temporary is before delete next 10, and one more next give rise to 2, and we are just deleting the temporary because we want to delete this middle 10. Now if you just run this, we pass the a dot get head, it's giving the access to the head of a. And for the next, you can see the after the head the next element is 10. We are giving access to temporary and we deleted the temporary, so this 10 value is getting deleted, and we gave the access of 1, and next it should point to 2, we gave access here. So I hope you got the basic concept of how to delete. You can do it for anything. If you want to delete the value of 2, you can just write here next. Okay, sorry, you can just write here next, and if you just run it, you can see the value of 2 is gone and the 10 remain because we printed out this. If you wrote 2 times, then this the value of 10 would also be gone. Now you can see the value of 2 is gone in place of 10 because we wrote here a next, so it is directly pointing to, after coming here is pointing to this one, is pointing to 2. So that's how we can do, we can delete any operator or node from any position. So I hope you got the basic, and that's how we come end to single linked list. In next we'll discuss about double linked list and circular linked list. You should get the basic concept clear, so watch these 3 videos properly. If you face any difficulty, please comment, I'll be happy to solve it. It's a little bit confusing, it confused me a lot, but you can understand it because I understood it, and I know you too can understand. So that was it for today. See you in the next, and before I will give you exercises, not now, for the next. And till then, watch this video once more if you didn't understand, and if you want to discuss, you can join me in Discord, or you can join me in comment box. I'll try to solve your all problems. So thank you for watching, see you in the next.